Advaitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Latam Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagaspate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yetkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Nirataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarane Hare Krishna. You know, hope everyone is doing well. You know.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Nikunjari Prabhu, what happened today? Class. Can you hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
So last week, we started Nectar of Instruction. Basically, the goal of life is to purify one's existence and be liberated and come back to Godhead. For that, we have to control the spirituality. Is not about which temple you go. Spirituality is all about sense control. You know, Vacha Begam Mana Krodha Begam Jihva Begam Udropastha Vegan Tasyan Vegan He Vishyadidira Sarvam Pimam Pradvisasishyat. So, we need to control these urges. Urge to speak, the speed of the mind, speed of anger, tongue, belly and genitals. If you control your mind, then only you can make progress in bhakti. How many of you remember last week's conversation? Some people can, they can be celibate, they do some tapasya, they try to control mind and senses, they keep themselves clean, they are truthful, and they renounce the world, they go to Himalayas. Excuse me. So that is what's called regular tapasya. But if you really want to attain the perfection, Rupa Goswami suggests they're all encapsulated into 4 things. Strictly follow 4 principles: no meditating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. Plus, every day to regulate the mind, we need to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If you practice Bhakti Yoga and you chant Hare Krishna mantra and you keep Krishna in the center, you'll make the progress very fast. How many of you can see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Did we finish this? No. Ah. Last week we saw up to billion genitals, Udara and Upastha. How to what is that? Control the speech, mind, anger. To control the speech, speak about Krishna. To control the mind, meditate on Krishna. And to control anger, what is the way? What did I tell last week to control anger? Huh? So it's not easy to control the anger, but of course, Prabhupada writes, become angry with the blasphemers. Lord Chaitanya became angry with Jagai and Madai. But nowadays, the easiest solution is instead of becoming angry, constructively address the problem. Address the problem and utilize your anger to solve the problem, not to solve the person. And, rather than solving the person, solve his problem. Jihva, eat only prasad. What is that? How do you control your tongue? Just eat only prasad. Udara and upastha. Belly and genitals and tongue, they're in straight line. If you can control the tongue, you're listening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, to control the tongue, eat only prasad. And if tongue is controlled, you'll be able to control belly and genitals automatically. Because belly and genitals and tongue are in one line. So, this is, can you see the screen? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives the purport on these three urges. He gives the purport on three urges. And he speaks on speech, mind, and body. So what is the problem? Prajalpa. When you think you are this body, when you come to this metal body, metal world, uh, when you think you are this metal body, it will create needs for three things: need to speech, and the demands of the mind, and demands of the body. you know Everyone is with me so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Saraswati Thakur writes, Prajalpa means getting onto social media, speaking unnecessarily for hours and hours and hours. Uh, People just hang on and speak for a very long time. Only they discuss how life is going on. If it becomes better, it will be good, but it's not becoming better. So when you speak unnecessarily, uh, then what happens? You are telling, like the way frog, when the frog is croaking, frog is telling the snake, wherever you are, you come and capture me. So when you identify with metal body, you try to unnecessarily speak. You have problem controlling the mind, and you have a strong desire to protect the body. So what is the solution? The life becomes inauspicious. The life becomes inauspicious. Rather than become a karmakandi or jnani, become a devotee. How to become a devotee? Perform bhakti towards Krishna. Hear about Krishna, speak about Krishna. If you just do Shravanam and Kirtanam about Krishna all the time, believe me, your power to speak nonsense will go down. So we have two problems, Avirodha Priti and Virodha Yukta Krodha. Avirodha Priti and Virodha Yukta Krodha. Unrestricted attachment and anger raising due to frustration. You can all see the screen. Unrestricted attachment. I want this, I want it, I want this. You know what is life all about? Anyone? Do you know what what are the principles? How do you define life, irrespective of who he is or she is? Ah,
The presence of consciousness, Prabhu?
Presence of
Consciousness.
okay. Purnima Mataji.
Life is an opportunity to know the truth, Prabhu.
Life is an opportunity to know the truth. Yes, very good. Soul means presence. Proof of soul is presence of consciousness. Well, actually, the life means it to you. Purify your existence. Get rid of your impurities. Anger, lust, greed. So impurities. So anyway, what is that? When we unnecessarily talk, because we identify with the material world. When you identify with the body, you identify with the material world. When you identify with the material world, you talk about them. Nowadays, everyone is telling Trump and $100,000 each one. Trump tariffs. Everyone is doing more chanting, more this only than chanting. So, when you identify the body, it creates three needs. First need is to speak. Second need is demands of the mind. Third need is demands of body. So, for the best way to control your speech is speak about Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayo. If you speak about Krishna all the time, believe me, your power to speak will go down. Then coming back to the next one, mind. How do you control your mind? Mind has two problems. Avirodha priti, unrestricted attachment, and virodha yukta krodha. You want me to repeat? The 2 points are avirodha priti, unrestricted attachment. Virodha yukta krodha. I want this. Life is all about you have longing to acquire things. You have longing to acquire more things, thinking it will make me happy. And you are holding on to what you have acquired, but at the same time, you have fear of losing. That is life. What is life? Life means you have a longing to acquire more things. Whatever you acquire, you hold on to them. But at the same time, you have fear of losing them. I'm honest with you, this is true. So, what is the solution? The solution is whether you want to offer solution to the speech or the mind. Prabhupada writes, Na yadvachas chitrapadam hareryaso jagat pavitram pragurinit karichit tadvaisam tirtham mushanti manasa. Tadvaisam tirtham. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, not Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Who is that mentions? Prabhupada mentions actually. Hey, your tongue, glorify Krishna. Your intelligence, you glorify Krishna using intelligence. But when you do not glorify Krishna, you will glorify yourself. You will glorify your family members. You will glorify your work. That is wrong. Nayadvat vachas chitrapadam harer yasa jagat pavitram pragurniti karichet tadvaisam tirtam shanti manasa nayatramsa niramantu sikshaya. This is one point. Let's see. Don't feel bad. What is it? Where there is no glorification of Krishna, it is a place of pilgrimage for crows. Means what? Garbage, rubbish will be there. But instead of glorifying, if you are speaking about rubbish, you glorify Krishna. तद्वाग्विसर्ग जनताग विप्लवो अस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबद्धवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशोङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवा. Even if improperly composed, the literature about Krishna, Krishna conscious literature, if you read, it will change your life. It will create a viplava, revolution. And you'll be able to give up your attachment. You know, what is the problem of the mind? Unrestricted attachment. Boy sees a girl, and he wants to marry, and he'll be attached. Same thing with boy, same thing with girl also. Children will come, you need a home. You need a home, you need to please this relatives, that relatives. Or that you need to leave the country and go to a different place. Tell them you are very happy. So there are a lot of anxieties. But instead glorify Krishna. If you glorify Krishna and tell others the glories of Krishna, Nama Rupa Guna Leela, then they are happy, you are happy. Then if you have attachment, prasanga majaram pasam atmano kaviyo with sayeva sadhu sukrata mokshadvaram upapradnam. Why we come to this world again and again? Because of the attachment. Why we came to this world? Or why do we continue to stay in this world? Because of attachment. If you keep that attachment for a sadhu, sayeva sadhu sukrata, if you keep that attachment for a sadhu, Prabhupada says this, if you're a chain smoker, if you're a smoker, and when then the body that nicotine goes down, immediately I want BD, I want BD, I want BD. Sometimes people have attachment for coffee. When they don't drink that coffee, that caffeine level is in the body go down, and they get headache. So when you have attachment to certain things, and if you cannot fulfill them at the right time, you will become miserable. But instead, if you utilize your time to glorify Krishna, then it is good for you and the whole world. Srila Prabhupada was writing a letter to his Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, you're a sannyasi. You're always surrounded by sannyasis. I'm a grihastha. I want to serve you. I don't know how. Saraswati Thakur said, he replied back, Arbe Babu, you're a scholar in English, Hindi, Sanskrit, and Bengali. You write in English language. You're listening or not? Everyone is listening, right? So the point is, what is that? When you spend your time, actually, ours is a bhakti process. Bhakti process means Shravanam and Kirtanam. You develop attachment as sadhu, the doors for liberation they're open, and very easy to control it will pave the path to controlling the mind. But instead, if you develop attachment for non-permanent things where there is no Krishna, that will definitely bring you back to this world. Then Virodhayukta Krodha, that is a trick of the mind. What is the trick of the mind? When you don't get what you want, immediately you'll become angry. When you don't get what you want, you'll become angry. What is the solution? Huh? The solution is the way you're attached to cigarette and bidi, somebody is, should be attached to sadhu. Very important. And anger due to frustration, what is that? What is the solution for anger due to frustration? So Prabhupada writes here, anger due to frustration. I mean, anger, the origin of the anger is Hiranyakashipu. Sorry, Narsingadev in the spiritual world. So we cannot eradicate anger, but anger can be controlled. How do you control the anger? Decrease your desires and increase your bhakti. That's it. Decrease your desires and increase your bhakti. Slowly but very steadily, anger is controlled. What is the root cause of anger? Lust. Lust means desires. What is the say? So on which platform mode of the lust is present? For the lust to happen, when the lust is unfulfilled, it will become anger. Kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajogun sattva. So what is the solution? Solution is come to mode of goodness, practice bhakti, and when the problem comes, take responsibility. Then Saraswati Thakur writes, what is the third one? Body. Body, three things are very formidable enemies. Tongue, belly and genitals. Tongue, belly and genitals. You know? So how do you control the tongue? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you should recite Mahaprasad prayers with attention. You will not usually, most of the time, some Mataji's cook. Men are there, if they're singles, they're not married, they eat outside. When you eat outside, the contamination enters into the heart. So what we should do, we should eat only prasad. We should resolve, I want to eat only prasad. You know, the best way to control the tongue is
Chanting and eating prasad.
that's it. Chanting and eating prasad. Can somebody read the 6 demands of the mind? It is given here, 6 steps of demands.
Tamo, dead bodies. Rajo, spicy. Sattvic, milk and grains. Mahatamo, intoxicants. Prasad, offering delicious food. Prasada, mansion, visiting for food. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhupada made this nice point. We are not, we are prasaditarian. In the vegetarian also, we are killing plants. Plants have life. So what is the solution? The solution is offer food to Krishna and then it will become prasad and eat it. But of course, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita to offer him?
Phalam pushpam toyam.
Louder.
Phalam pushpam toyam. So fruit, water, and flower.
I can't hear, bro. Repeat again. What did he say? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Oh yeah. So yes, patram phalam, offer food to Krishna and eat it. That's it. It's very important. Belly. Saraswati Thakur says, tongue, belly, and genitals, they're in one line. Tongue, belly, and genitals, they're in one line. So what we do? Offer food. And second thing, Fast on Ekadasis. Prabhupada says this. You fast on Janmashtami midnight, you have to fast. You fast on Ekadasis and festivals, then all the diseases of the stomach are cured. One time one devotee asked, I have been eating prasad very nicely. Still I am unable to control my mind, unable to control my tongue. What should I do? And the Guru answered, you say Mahaprasad prayers very sincerely before eating. You say Mahaprasad prayers sincerely. My Lord, please, accept my offering and give me spiritual strength. We can ask like that. The last one is genitals. Genitals is sex life. One should have, if you cannot join full time, get married and take responsibility for children. But one should not try artificial things. Also, Prabhupada writes, quoting Rupa Goswami. So, what is that? We should utilize this force to give birth to children. Today, because of the social media, all the junk and nonsense, people are actually wasting their human energy by trying different artificial means. But not knowing that it will create a bad samskara, bad chitta, mind will be polluted when we artificially try to enjoy. So, Prabhupada says, get married and give birth to children and put the children in gurukuls. That is all right. The conclusion is this. You can serve only one master. Means in the material world, most of the people, they want to exclusively serve their senses. They want to buy a particular car, they want to sit and eat. So two things are there, Godas and Goswami. What is Go? Go means senses. Go also means cows. So Krishna, when he came to establish Dharma, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So what is that? If you serve the senses, you're Godas. If you serve Krishna, you're Goswami. So we cannot serve both. Maybe initially, yes, we can serve both. We can serve the senses and we can serve Krishna. But Prabhupada said one time, Prabhupada was very sick. And Vrindavan 1977. Still Prabhupada would ask, what is the prasad today? Our devotee is happy. That was Prabhupada's concern, Because Prabhupada says, do nice kirtan and be happy. Eat prasad and be happy. So in serving Krishna, you'll be happy also. As your humble servant, you can just hear and chant and apply the principles of Gita in your life. Haribol, you'll attain the perfection. Any question or comment? Verse is over. I will take a recap. Actually, I want to add one more point. Prabhupada mentions it. Coming back to genitals. There are 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. That are 4 varnas. 4 ashram, sorry, 4 varnas are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And what are the 4 ashramas? Brahmachari, Kshatriya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So if you utilize human energy, but actually I want to give you an example. Let me tell you. Brahmachari means he has zero connection with women because he came to Gurukul to study. Vanaprasthis and sannyasis, they also, they have a zero relationship with the ladies. But in between, what is that? Grihasthas, there is license. So what is that? Only, for Grihasthas also, get married and take responsibility. It's very important. Other 3 ashramas, zero. And Lord Chaitanya was very strict with Chota Haridas. Because Chota Haridas violated, he was sannyasi. One day Lord Chaitanya, this Sikhi Mahiti, his sister is, anyway, one day Lord Chaitanya was invited for prasad. Lord Chaitanya went to eat prasad. And Lord Chaitanya put that prasad in his mouth. First question he asked, whose rice is this? Sikkim Mahiti's sister's rice. Who brought it? Chota Haridas brought it. Lord Chaitanya said, from today onwards I should not see him. Wow. What happened? You're listening or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
So the point is, what is it? Lord Chaitanya understood. One has to be very strict based on ashram. We should be thoroughly honest. What is that? There is a book called Prem Vaivarta by Jagadananda Pandit. Vairagi Bhai, Gramya Kada na sunibe, Gramya Kada sunibe kane, Gramya Varta na kahibe. Yabe milibe ane, Sapne na kara bhai stri sambhashana. Gruhe stri chadiya bhai, asiyache vana. Yadi chaya, Pranaya, Rakite Gaurange Rastane Sane, Chota Haridasera Katha Take Enamane. So, Lord Chaitanya gave Krishna Prema to everyone. Lord Chaitanya gave Krishna Prema to everyone. When Shivanand Sen went to Lord Chaitanya and said, my Lord, my wife became pregnant. Lord Chaitanya is sannyasi. He gave gifts. Very nice, very nice. But Lord Chaitanya, if at all, I heard in one lecture, if at all Chodaridas Thakur has done anything wrong in his mind for 1 second, only 1 second meditation, still Lord Chaitanya. So the point, what is the point? The point is, one has to do, we should try to sincerely control our speech, speak only when needed, control mind by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, manastrayata iti mantra, and control the body. How do we control the body? Control the tongue, belly, and genitals. The conclusion is, you cannot serve, you cannot have two bosses. Krishna should be your boss, or Maya should be your boss. If you are if you are servant of Maya, you cannot be servant of Krishna. If you are servant of Krishna, if you are servant of Krishna, you can. If you are servant of Maya, you cannot be servant of Krishna. As simple as that. So, Chaitanya, this nectar of Upadeshamrita is imploring you to purify your senses. Godas and Goswami. Today, practically whole world is, even though they may have so many degrees, everyone is a Godas. Adhanta Gopi Vishadanta Mishram Punah Punah Charvita Charanana. So people, they chew the chewed, and they keep on chewing the chewed, and they waste their life for sense enjoyment. Any question or comment? Otherwise, we'll go to the next verse. So we'll go to the next verse. Any question or comment? Otherwise, can we go to the next verse?
Yes, Prabhu.
अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पानेमग्रह जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति. So how is the bhakti spoiled? Devotion is spoiled. The answer is, if you are engaged in 6 things. What are the 6 things? Can somebody read on the screen?
Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Number 2, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Number 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Number 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Point number 5, associating with the worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. Hare Krishna.
So what are the things? Atyahara, overeating. What will destroy our bhakti? Overeating, atyahara, or collecting more funds than needed. What it will do? It will increase your greed. When you increase your greed, you will focus continuously on how do I make money? How do I collect more? Then what happens? Your mind is focused on external things, means Maya will capture you. So just give me 1 minute. Let us see this one. So Prabhupada says this. If you put a rice bag, what is that? A plate of rice outside. One crow will come and pick up a bead, a mouthful of rice and go away. Dog will come, whatever is there for dog's portion, dog will eat and go. you know. So when you put a rice bag outside, or when you put rice, one crow will come and pick up a big mouthful. All the animals, they come and pick little. When human being comes, he'll put the entire rice bag in his own. We have this problem, you know. What is the problem? Greed. So actually Prabhupada writes here, there are three energies. Krishna's energies are so many. Out of so many energies, three are prominent. Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. Bahiranga Shakti is Mahamaya, Antaranga Shakti is Yogamaya, and we are in between. Tatastha. Tat means bank. So we are Tatastha Shakti, marginal. Bahiranga Shakti means Mahamaya. When we want to enjoy independence of Krishna, Mahamaya will capture us. But when you become a pure devotee, you will come under the influence of Antaranga Shakti, Daivi Prakriti. So Prabhupada is writing, what is that? Release. So this Antaranga Shakti, we have Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and Tatastha. Sometime when we worship Krishna intensely, we come under the influence of Yogamaya. We understand everything is temporary. I should lead a simple life. But when you forget Krishna, immediately Maya will capture you. Ma, 1 minute. Prabhupada says, according to nature, we don't need to over endure. When you take birth, Krishna has arranged a portion for you. We should utilize human life to cleanse our heart and go back to Godhead. It's very important. But today, what people do? Because that is forgotten. Everyone is putting energy for technological development. What is technological development? How do you enjoy your body? How do you make your body comfortable? How to make your body comfortable? That's the problem. Then what happens? It will trigger greed. Hare Krishna. It will trigger unnecessarily greed. A greedy person cannot be Krishna conscious. He can be Krishna conscious, but the problem is, his vehicle will go only 10 miles an hour. Sad. Prabhupada is writing here, Mahatma nastumam parda daivi prakriti masrita bhajanti mananya manaso jnatva bhutadim aviyam. Mahatma means whose life is go back to Godhead. Simple living and high thinking. So he understands Krishna has arranged for me. I don't need to be greedy. I don't need to be greedy. But today that is forgotten. What's the problem? People are investing on technology and trying to make the human life better actually. Just give me 1 minute. So, when you try to make your life better, what do? You spend more time working. But what's the goal of life? When you don't know Krishna, goal of life is enjoyment. Dharmasya hi apavargasya. This is actually, what is it? 129. Narto ardhaya kalpati, nartasya dharmekantasya, kamo lob, kamo labai hi smrita. Whatever occupation, you're a doctor, engineer, goal of life is liberation from cycle of birth and death. But life should not be used for material gain. Prabhupada is writing, furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupation service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So today, when goal of life is not known, some people call it socialism, some people call it capitalism. Both are wrong. Because both are based on greed, atihara. Capitalism means communism. Capitalism means America. That's wrong. America. So people, you employ people and you pay $20 and try to get $100 work from them. Goal of life is not self-realization. What happens? Sense enjoyment. Dharmas swanasitapum sam vishwaksena kadasuya na udpadiyet yadiratim srameva hi kevalam. So you're all working. What is that? You're working. But after working, you're making money. If it is that's not triggering, or that is not triggering attraction to Krishna, then the sramevahi kevalam. Sramevahi kevalam. Today, why people? Then you work very hard. Goal of life is money. Then what happens? Once you go, you become, you work very hard and you get tired. And there is no interest for spiritual life. What is why the problem is here? Now, Prabhupada is writing modern society 4841. Srimad Bhagavatam. This is actually Dhromara's story, actually. No. Any persons who desires the fruit of four principles, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, should engage himself in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the worship of his lotus feet yields the fulfillment of all these. So the thing is, work should not be for sense gratification. Work is for liberation from cycle of birth and death. And Prabhupada is writing here, what is the goal of life today? Make money, give it to children and leave the world. What happens? Prabhupada says one person made a big building throughout his life, worked very hard. If you build a 40-story building, it takes very long time. So this man worked very hard throughout his life to build a huge building. Then he died. When he died, because of the karma, he became a cobbler. But because of the attachment to that home, he took birth as a cobbler right opposite to that home. He would regularly look at that home. He did not know why, but he was attached to that home. He didn't know why, but he was attached to the home. And sometimes he would go into that home. His grandchildren, not knowing that this was the grandfather, they would beat him up. Hey, why are you coming here? A cobbler, don't come here. So you're understanding? What is the flaw of material life? What is the flaw of material life? Anybody? If goal of life is just money making and sense gratification, what is the flaw in that? Who will answer?
Frustration.
That's it. Why frustration?
There are four outcomes, Prabhu, in material desire. First outcome, I desire, I won't get it. Frustration. I desire, I got it, but it won't satisfy me. Frustration. I desired, I got it, it's satisfied, but it won't last longer. Frustration. I desired, I got it, it's satisfied, it lasts longer, but it comes with miseries.
It comes with the?
Always with the miseries, problems.
Yeah.
So frustration. So the ultimate outcome is frustration.
Amazing, Prabhu. Fantastic. Very nice. So, anybody wants to add to this, what he said? In your own way. What is the problem with the goal of sense enjoyment as a goal of life, or money making as goal of life? Artha. Who wants to add?
It does not come with you.
Okay, very nice.
And it, the fourth thing that Prabhu mentioned, that is because of even if you hit all the points, it's chewing the chew, the satisfaction gets less and less.
Very nice. Anyone wants to add?
We'll be attached. Sorry.
Hi, Prabhuji, go ahead.
And basically, we get attached to all the material things. That is what is causing this bondage of birth and death cycle.
Exactly.
Prabhuji will be drifting away more and more from our real emotion.
Yeah, we'll be drifting away from our original constitutional position. We'll go more and more into Maya. Amazing. So that's why, but today, if you see goal of life, I mean, I'm not, Bhagavatam is not telling, or Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami is not telling, Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami is not telling, you should not endeavor. So what is Vedic culture motto is simple living and high thinking. But today's motto, high living and no thinking at all. So, can you see here welfare work? What does that communists say? Capitalists say, everything should be in the hands of people. Money should control the world. That's capitalism. But then communists say, no, 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 no. If you're a capitalist, all the money is with you only. 100 people, out of 100 people, only 10 people have money. 90 people are working as slaves to these 10 people. So money should be socialized. That is communist. So money should be distributed equally. But both are wrong. Why? That's based on greed. So what works? Bhagavatam works. Krishna is the center. Capitalism and communism both will fail because there is no Krishna in the center. But if you keep Krishna in the center and lead a simple life, hey, when you take birth, sir, ma'am, already a portion is allocated to you. Isha Vashyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jaya. Don't exploit others. When the capitalists, they try to exploit their employees. Communists try to exploit the nature without working. Both are wrong. What is right? Krishna-centered, Krishnaism is right. And here Prabhupada writes, when you see $100 bill on the road, some people say, no, it's not mine, you'll go away. That's okay. But what is higher? You pick up the $100 bill and give it to that person. You see a wallet on the road, and when you open it, you see like 1,000 rupees or maybe 1 lakh rupees. But then you go to that person and give him that money, they'll be very happy. Rather than living on the road, this is not mine. This is not mine, and if you live on the road, that's okay. It will not do any good. That is my way. You know? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. This world is illusion. But devotees, this world is not, how can this world be illusion? This world is temporary, owned by Krishna. So, if you give the wallet to the person who lost it, that person is happy. So, what does that example mean? When you utilize the money for Krishna's service, and when you try to please Krishna, and if you try to see Krishna in everyone's heart and serve them, or in other words, God-centered society, where everyone leads a simple life for the purification of one's existence, then everyone is happy. You know? So that's why atyahara is not good. Greed is not good. Overeating. You know. The next one is a prayasa. Prayasa means over endeavoring. Today, we have people working at 10 hours also. Production support 2 o'clock also. They'll get up and so why? When you think you're this body, what is the first lesson of Gita? You're not the body. But when you forget that, you try to make your life comfortable. Then you try to work very hard to make a life comfortable. Then what happens? Today, so many factories. When you work so hard, you come home, you're tired, you try to enjoy. Prabhupada says today there are so many factories that led to so many brothels, so many liquor shops, so many gambling dens. 100 years ago, all things were not there. People were relatively happy. But today we have so many things, so many gadgets. We are miserable. Prayasa. So what happens when you work very hard? When we work very hard, what happens? You get tired, you come home. When you come home, you get tired and a little sleep and again ready. So the goal of life is forgotten. What is that? Goal of life is forgotten. Life is all about eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. Revolve. So today's world, when you think you are this body, you try to satisfy your tongue. What is that? Indriya vrite enaktam baba yena vaya diyacharth hai rajan kutumba bharane nama. So today people actually, if you're in New Jersey, you take 2 hours train. You take 2 hours train, you go to Grand Central, again take a bus. So you take 3 hours to go to work in New York. Then again another 3 hours to come back home. Right, 6 hours is gone, but 8 hours you worked. 14 hours udhar hi gaya. How many hours? 14 hours. But according to Bhagavatam, what is that? Dharmasya apargasya. Goal of life is to, what is apavarga? Pavarga. Pa, fa, ba, bha, ma. If you and the bodily consciousness you work, what will the bodily consciousness work will benefit? What will it lead to? Pa, parishram. We work very hard. When you work hard, whole day, you come home, fa, fana, you will foam in the mouth. Then banda. You'll create bondage. You bring money for your family, you're very attached to them. Then bhaya, fear. Arey, when will I lose my job? Always worry only. If I lose my job, how will I maintain my family? Where will I get green card? It's a continuous anxiety. And what this will bring finally? Ma mrutyu, death. Everyone is thinking you're very happy, but you're living the life in anxiety with the pafa babhama. But the goal of human life is apavarga, dharmasya hi apavargasya, apavarga. You have to reverse this pavarga. Means liberation. For that, rather than over enduring, one should, rather than over enduring, one should what one should do? Focus on spiritual life. The happiness is from spirit service. Happiness is a state of consciousness, it's not a product. Like if Black Friday is coming, you go to Black Friday, okay, I'll buy hard disk, I'll buy a computer, I'll buy that, this. The next day you'll be very happy. You got it very cheap. Happiness is not a product, sir, ma'am. Happiness is a state of consciousness. Listening or not? Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So, rather than over endeavoring, one should endeavor for bhakti. But if you forget that, if you over endeavor, if you eat too much, more, if you eat more than needed, and if you collect more funds than needed, then that will destroy bhakti. Then second thing, if you're endeavoring more than needed for the bodily comforts, that will destroy bhakti also. And what is the third one? Atyahara prayasascha prajalpa. What is the third one? Prajalpa niyamagraha. Unnecessary talk. What is prajalpa? Unnecessary talk. Today, we spend a lot of time on prajalpa. Social media, entire social media is a prajalpa only. You agree or not? Prajalpa, you go to party, talk hours and hours and hours. Then, go and hang on with friends, hours and hours and hours. And you go and talk from, Kashmir problem to Kanyakumari, and finally, after speaking 4-5 hours, you have to go tomorrow, I have a lot of work. You talk these problems as though, you're going to solve them. After that, you say, I have to go, we'll talk next week. What is the problem of this world? Boring. Boredom. To avoid boredom, so many gadgets, so many social media websites. It's all prajalpa. One time, one lecture I heard, prajalpa sucks your spiritual energy. What prajalpa will do? It will suck your spiritual energy. Reading newspapers, going to movies and clubs, it is all prajalpa only. You're listening? Can you hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So today there is so much distraction. So just give it up. Your WhatsApp, that message, this message, and so much of screen time is wasted. So much of human energy is wasted. We spend our time in gossip. That's not good. I have a question for all of you. Why we are interested to watch movies? You know,
Want to get away from seeing the reality of life.
that okay. Anybody?
It was sense enjoyment.
Okay. Basically sense enjoyment, perfect. And we want to get away from goal. That's true illusion. And there is one more point. Movie means you want to know what is happening in their life. You want to know what is happening in others' lives. When you want to know what is happening in others' lives, that's why this they take a story. That story was created in the mind of a writer, and they bring some characters and a hero, beautiful heroine. Array, what's happening between them? The whole story runs behind them only. Prajalpa. End of the day, it is illusory. There is no existence. But people talk as though it happened. Array, that at the end, his father got into cancer, then he tries to go, then so all the people discuss the stories. Prajalpa. Reading newspapers, Prajalpa. Sitting in and talking in tea restaurants and bars, they don't have anything to do. It's boring. Prajalpa. Prajalpa sucks the spiritual energy. If you awaken love of God and if you're present on the platform, wow, so much joy. Become free from three modes. Haribol. But that doesn't happen tomorrow. One has to diligently do sadhana, on regular basis. So again and we have to convey, my Lord, I need you only, nobody else. Prajalpa, niyama agraha. Prajalpa, niyama agraha. Niyama agraha has two words. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. What is that? Niyama agraha means, okay, if you come to Bhakti, you have to follow these rules, A, B, C, D. So you say, Abba, this is difficult. So reject it. This particular rule is difficult. Reject it. If you're rejecting the rules so that you can have your own convenient spiritual life, you'll not make progress. Niyamagraha means if you impose one rule or add one more rule that will be beneficial to you, you will add that rule. For example, if you have a grocery shop very close to temple, you'll go to temple. Prabhuji's management, when people come to the temple, they should offer something to Krishna. They should not go empty-handed, They should not go to temple empty-handed. I don't know how many of you understood. So, because when you make this rule, when everyone comes to temple to make an offering, so hope is that people will come to his shop and buy things and make an offering. So he is imposing so that he'll be benefited. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. You know. Also, one more thing, Rupa Goswami writes, following rules for the sake of following, but not really understanding what it is. That is another category, actually. So what this will do? This will destroy bhakti. What it will do? It will destroy bhakti. And somebody is asking a question. What is that? Is service concern and offering? I mean, the question is not clear actually. Is service concern and offering? What does it mean? I don't know.
It may be considered service concern and offering.
Anyway, first thing is, what is that? So Nemagraha means a little Janasanga. This is very important. Materialists, materialists, if you associate with devotees who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, we have to avoid that association. But if you have devotees, Tandera Charana Sevi, Bhakta Sanevas, Janama Janama Sei, Ei Abhilash. Prabhupada writes, we are human beings are social beings. So we like association. Prabhupada says there's a diabetes association, there's a Lions Club, there's a tennis association, there is a, what is that? Merchants Association. So likewise, people, like-minded people, birds of same feathers flock together. Like-minded people, they come together. So if you hang on with non-devotees, actually non-devotee association is very bad. Ramanujacharya says this. You've got an opportunity to drink poison, you have an opportunity to hang on with a metalist. You have to choose either of the one. He says, better drink poison and die. Why? When you drink poison and die, the body, it will cause harm to the body only, death only. But if you hang on with metalist, he'll inspire you so much to become atheistic. It is like Atmaha, killer of the soul. Soul cannot be killed, of course. But you're doing damage. You're increasing your births. You're going away from Krishna. You're going away from Krishna. So we should avoid the non-devotees association. Sometimes the problem comes in the families actually. You become serious in Krishna consciousness, you don't know what to speak. And they talk this, they hang on and talk, everyone hangs on. In your family, they'll hang on and talk. You just sit down, you don't know what to do actually. So association, honestly, bad association is very dangerous, deadly actually. Shakespeare says, tell me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. what is that? Ajamil associated with a prostitute, and all his good qualities ended. Contrary, the boy, Narad Muni, before, when he was a maid servant, son of a maid servant, he was hanging on with the Bhakti Vedantas and rendering service. His life was positively transformed. His life is a positively transformed. We have to be very careful about the association. And people like to just hang on and waste the time. Especially it happens in a materialistic association. Prajalpa happens. Laulyam cha, greed. What destroys bhakti is greed. Bhakti mukti siddhi kami sakala asanta, Krishna bhakta nishkama atayeva santa. Materialists, they are sense enjoyers. They are greedy for sense enjoyment. They are greedy for money making. They are greedy for increasing their empire in this world. And that type of persons, they don't see time is running out. Mukti, jnanis, they want impersonal liberation. They want to merge in Brahman effulgence. And they want to become one with God. They want to become God. So when you want liberation, you are also dissatisfied. Bhakti, mukti, siddhi. Jnanis want mukti. Ashtanga yogis want siddhis. They have already attained to mystic perfections. I have not attained one. Oh, I'm very sad. If you are a spiritualist for siddhis, you're an Ashtanga yogi, you're miserable. Because you have come to Krishna consciousness to get siddhis. That's not good. Jnanis want liberation, impersonal liberation. They want to become one with Krishna. They're also dissatisfied. And sense enjoyers, karma kandis, they want more and more wealth to enjoy. Any question? But Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeva Santa. So Krishna Bhakta is not a bhakti, is not a karmi. Krishna Bhakta is not a jnana yogi. Krishna Bhakta is not an ashtanga yogi. What is Krishna Bhakta? Nishkama. Krishna Bhakta doesn't want anything other than the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna Bhakta, devotee of Krishna, doesn't want impersonal liberation. He doesn't want sense enjoyment. He doesn't want mystic powers. Lord Chaitanya made the Sikshastakam. What a Sikshastakam it is, what 8 verses. Third verse speaks of the humility, fourth verse speaks of the things we should not be attached to. What is that? Nadhanam, Najanam, Nasundari. You don't want money, you don't want followers, you don't want the allurement of opposite sex. If you have, then you'll be dissatisfied. But devotee, Nishkama, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he wants to please only Krishna. He doesn't have any desires other than pleasing Krishna. Then he's happy. Athayeva Santa. Most of the people in the world, they are bhakti kamis, materialists. They want to earn more and more and more, and they want to enjoy. What is the end result? Somebody said, enjoy, at the end they suffer. Jnanis, they want to become one with God. What is the problem with becoming one with the Brahman? You know? What is the problem with impersonal liberation?
You can still fall down.
How?
There is no service.
There is no service. Exactly. You know, you enter into Brahman, you don't lose your existence. You're still there. You're not merged into anything, light or anything. Your presence is still there. It is like a green parrot landing on a green tree, you know. Green parrot landing on green tree appears all same only, green only. But doesn't the parrot have a individual existence? It does have. So, I know materialist is unhappy. Jnani is looking for impersonal liberation is unhappy. First of all, when you merge in the Brahman effulgence, there is no service. The nature of the soul is service. Because you are not doing it, acting artificially, you are unhappy. You are looking for mystic powers, Ashtanga Yogi. And why mystic powers? You want to tell the world how much control you have on the 5 elements. The moment you speak like this, speak means the moment you act like this, looking for mystic powers, there is no Krishna in that. Means you want name and fame, you want controllership, then you will not be happy. What do you think? So we should have greed. What is the problem of the world today? Greed. People have 1 million, want 2 million, people have 2 million, want 4 million, people have 4 million, want 8 million, people have 8 million, they want 16 million. They don't know what to do. In the olden days, people would retire at the age of 50 and 60, 58 and 60. And what they would do, they would diligently work to make progress in spiritual life. But nowadays, people are not retiring. They don't have faith. They are brainwashed with education for 10, 15, 20 years. Because of the brainwashing, suddenly, you know, you worked so hard, you have so much money, but health is failing. But little bit health is there. Now, people are not retiring. Even if they retire, they don't know what to do. After retiring, they are joining another job. Greed. And today, whole world is focused on making more and more products only. To make your life better. For eyebrows, 100 products. For nose, 100 products. For ears, 100 products. If soul is present in the body, then only the body has value. But there is no product for the soul. Amazing, right? You know. So greed. Why rivers are polluted? Greed. Lakes are polluted? Greed. When the heart is contaminated? Greed. When the long weekend comes, all the people of New York will go to West Virginia forests. All the people of West Virginia, they're bored, they'll go to New York. So, but Rupa Goswami says, anyway, that is next. The greed that you apply for material things, apply the same greed for Krishna. That you'll run on the bhakti. Laulyam ekam api mulyam. You want to make progress in Krishna consciousness? Only one. What is that? Intense greed. Greed for making progress on path of bhakti. Haribol. Intense greed. Greed for bhakti. I'll chant 16 rounds. I'll chant 20 rounds. I'll invite 10 people to my home for prasad. Why 10? Invite 20 people. Nobody is there to do service. I'll do it. Somehow or other, by hook or crook, you want to be recognized by Krishna. When you applied greed for bhakti, that will cause your acceleration on the path of bhakti. But forgetting bhakti and you try to apply laulyam, greed for material things, what happens? That greed will destroy us actually. You know, so I spoke on atyahara. Goal of human life is self-realization, not overeating and over-collecting. And prayasa, over-endeavoring. If you do 2 jobs, then you come home and sleep. Where is the room for chanting? You know, actually some devotees, when they got promotions, they rejected it, thinking that this would, these higher jobs would demand more attention, more time. I need to put more office hours. That way my bhakti is ruined. And instead of taking promotion as managers, they have reverted back to consultants. So anyway, prayasa also will destroy bhakti. Prajalpa includes criticizing others. Prajalpa includes criticizing others. And all these social media sites, prajalpa. Niyamagraha means you're following the principles for the sake of following, but you don't apply the what is that? The main reason why this principle is there. Second one is accepting the rules because you're getting some benefit out of it. And the next one is Janasangasya. We should avoid this association of materialists. And we should not be greedy for material things, rather we should be greedy for spiritual progress. These are the things I covered, and we'll continue on this verse next week. Only one thing, Hare Krishna. One thing I want to mention is I am going to Yatra. I'm going to India actually. I really do not know whether I will have time or not. So my request to you, all of you, if you can finish your exams. How many of you finish your exams?
Third exam will do next Sunday.
Okay.
Around 30 to 33 people have completed exam 2. You are pending with assignments.
Can everyone finish assignments, and exams? So
deadline November 5 to complete our Gita. Whoever is pending for assignments and exams.
Okay.
And that way, after that, if someone comes, then it should come next week. So much.
This is the thing, there is a gap here. I really do not know when I go to India and I'll be able to do it from there. So let me see. I don't think, the time. What is the time in India now?
9 means 7:30.
6:30. No, I don't think.
7:30 means.
So I'm doing next 2 weeks. I'll be in Yatra only. I'm going to Mayapur and Vrindavan. So where will I get internet and So definitely 2 weeks I cannot do it. Maybe 3rd week I can do it, but and 4th. So anyway, I'm ending here, but there is no class for sure next Sunday and Sunday next. And if you can finish all the assignments, and exams, I'll be grateful. I'm ending it. Vancha kalpatarabhyasya kripa sindhubhyesh pattanam pavanaja Vaishnavyanam. Andhgad Vaishnava ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.